Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Gene Edwards. You are watching Lubed for December the 1st, 2022, as the Edmonton Oilers took on the Minnesota Wild at the XL Energy Center and fell to the Wild once again by a count of 5-3. Before I get into my thoughts of that game, just a quick shout out to my subscribers for adding some content on how I could improve the channel. So actually, a couple days ago, I had one subscriber saying to shorten the intro music and to maybe change the genre style. Obviously, you change the genre style of music, you got to be very neutral. So I decided to go with the bluesy jazz kind of theme. And since I was changing it up, I redid the intro. I hope you guys like it. I'm quite pleased with it, and I'm also going to do a few programming changes once again, as I am no longer going to do a weekly preview segment. I am going to be doing that within each episode. So tonight, on this particular episode, I am going to talk about the game against the Montreal Canadiens, and I'm going to give you my preview for that on this episode. And then when the Montreal game review comes up, I'll be doing the Washington Capitals and so forth and so forth. I just think it'll be more cleaner instead of me rambling off 4 games of numbers, just boring the hell out of you guys. I thought it would probably be a better approach to doing it. Feel free to leave comments. As you can see, one viewer did leave comments and I did make changes. So I'm not saying I'm going to make changes on every single comment made, but I will definitely take it under consideration. Now, let's get back into what happened last night. And, you know, I was just watching actually the oil stream with Gazzola and Nielsen. And they called this the scheduled loss. And Gazzola went off saying that's a loser mentality. And it is a loser mentality. But literally, the Edmonton Oilers in Minnesota just, I don't know what it is about the Minnesota Wild, and I wouldn't say in Minnesota, but just in general, Minnesota. The last 31 times, where's that stat I had? The last 31 times, Minnesota has won 22 of them. Minnesota has won 22. Edmonton Oilers have won 9. So that tells a lot about this rivalry. The other thing that really starting to concern me, I mean, we're in December now. We're 2 months into the season. We're a quarter way into the season. And we're still not seeing a consistent Jack Campbell. Did the Edmonton Oilers sign him up to a 5-year toxic contract that's going to be just riding right through the McDavid and Draisaitl contracts? God, can you imagine that? And that's what they mentioned also on the oil stream, that this might ride this contract right out until McDavid's and Draisaitl's contracts are done, which, oh God, like I just want to get back to this. That's why I'm wearing this hat today. Like I mean, wow, it's been so long. And, you know, at least I got to experience. A lot of you viewers out there, probably too young, never got to experience it. And it was amazing. It was amazing when it did happen. Anyway, I'm not going to reminisce on the past. Let's get into last night's scoring summary of the game. As the Edmonton Oilers got on the board first, it was a power play goal from Leon Draisaitl at 11:17. This was assisted by Evan Bouchard and Connor McDavid. It was 1-0 after the first period. In the second period, Joel Eriksson Ek scores his 7th on the power play. This was from Kirill Kaprizov, who had a very good night. And it's 1-1. Connor McDavid at 4:22 gets his 19th of the year from Leon Draisaitl and Zach Hyman, making it 2-1 Edmonton. And then Kirill Kaprizov gets his first. I was kind of surprised when they said this, but this was his first goal against the Edmonton Oilers, and his 14th of the year at 10:53 from Matt Boldy and Joel Eriksson Ek. We go later into the period at 13:59, And Frederick Gaudreau takes the lead for the first time for the Wild from Nick Petan and John Merrill. We end the second period as it was 3-2 for the Wild, and more Wild continued in the third period as Sam Steele scores from Matt Zuccarello and John Merrill. Matt Zuccarello scores a goal at 11:48, and then Klim Kostin at 19:58, basically like a dunk shot into a basketball net, rounds off the scoring. 5-3 is your final. Minnesota wins. Like I said in the previous episode, I kind of expected it, and yeah, they're starting to call scheduled wins now, so not good at all. Let's go into the X Factors for tonight.
They wanted. Rangers having trouble changing here. McDavid, beautiful move.
Okay, so for the X Factors, I usually don't go this way. I don't like to put out the negative points, but on this game, I'm going to put out the negative points. Usually, I like to say the positives of the victorious team. So if it's Minnesota, I'll say their positive stuff. However, I think this time it needs addressing of the negative stuff. When it came to the penalty kill for the Edmonton Oilers, 2 for 3 went in. When your penalty kill is allowing 2 out of the 3, and they're getting 66% of their penalties are going in, you're not doing a good defensive job. Jack Campbell, have to call out the elephant in the room. 25 saves of 30. Not good enough. .833 save percentage, and that's been the story all year long. Like I said, we're now into December. I'm running out of excuses for this guy. He needs to figure it out. What, are we going to rely on Skinner being our number one? And our $5 million goalie's going to play against Anaheim and Arizona, and that's about it? Like, come on. He needs to get better. And then I will give a highlight and a shout-out to the other 97 on the ice, Kirill Kaprizov. 1 goal, 2 assists, and that caps off your X Factors for tonight. That now puts the Edmonton Oilers 7th in the West with 26 points. They are 9 points back of Vegas and 3 points ahead of Calgary. Calgary's another team that's had struggling goaltending this year as well. So it's kind of a league-wide thing as far, well, in the Pacific Division anyway. So that will take us to the game against the Montreal Canadiens on Saturday night. And I know I did this review basically last week, but the stats probably have changed since. So we will go over the numbers of the Montreal Canadiens as they take on the Oilers. I suspect this could be a fairly decent scoring game. Dustin Nielsen kind of mentioned it on the Oil Stream as well, and I kind of agree with him. I think there is going to be, I think this will go over on the under-over situation, but we'll see. As far as the stats go, you got the Edmonton Oilers in 8th place for goals, averaging 3.43. The Montreal Canadiens are 24th, averaging 2.82. As far as shots on goal, Edmonton leads in that category as well, averaging 32.7 to Montreal's 30.3. When it comes to the power play percentage, the Oilers' power play now has slipped to 6th. They were 2nd for the first, month and a half, and then they slipped to 4th, and now they have slipped to 6th at 27.4. Montreal, though, they're 31st at 14.9. When it comes to the face-off percentage, the Edmonton Oilers are tied in for 16th at 50.1. Montreal has a bit of an edge, slight edge, at 51.4. Shooting percentage, the Montreal Canadiens have a 9.3, and they are tied for 2nd. And the Edmonton Oilers are 10.5, tied for 10th. When it comes to your goaltenders, both goaltenders don't have stellar numbers. Jake Allen is who they have on this, reported on this list at 8.89. And then they have Jack Campbell, but I have a feeling Jack Campbell will not be starting this. I'm pretty sure Stuart Skinner will be playing this game. Yeah, that's about all I have for today. The one thing I'm going to take note of is, if you do remember my last episode I did about how Woody was using Nurse and McDavid and all those guys way too much with their numbers, giving them nearly 30 minutes a game. For this game, even though they lost, it was a lot more balanced. So the fourth line was getting a lot more in the high teens. McDavid was getting in the low 20s and Draisaitl in the low 20s. So Woody has adjusted that, so that's one good thing. We'll see what they do against Montreal. But boy, oh boy, it's definitely concerning what I have been seeing out of the Edmonton Oilers thus far this season. Once again, guys, I hope you enjoy the changes that I have made and the changes that are coming. Changes will be ongoing, as I feel if I can provide better content to you guys, I will do it. Until we meet again, which will be Sunday morning when I do the review of the Montreal Canadian game. Stay healthy, stay happy, stay hydrated. We will talk soon.
My tongue keeps bleeding from the words I spit. So sharp, so freezing, so cold. Behold, frostbite, they